And namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions. We look a little tilted here. There we go, level. Get Jesus on the level. And there was a question that came in today that I felt to answer. I'm very grateful for it. Came in from MIcki O'Brien Albert. And you see how these are for you, all these questions. And I want to mention about asking questions. You can send them through Facebook, you can email questions, and we are going to have a Q&A. It just hasn't been in guidance during the session, the light circle sessions the light circle sessions are for focusing on the light and really listening to Jesus's voice within. And it does come through our brother. Yes, it can. But the emphasis here has been not to look in, that no one outside you can accept the atonement. You have to accept it for yourself. And it was most helpful for me not to answer questions like that. It was just really to listen to his voice and speak, just speak. And so now he's saying I can answer questions. It's helpful now for me. So, and for everyone. So we will start, I don't know how often, but tomorrow we'll have a question and answer if someone would like to come on and ask questions about hearing spirit and more specific things. So she says, good morning. I have a question about today's contemplation of blankness. So they're going through, she and Thecla are going through chapter 20. And this is really great. And Jesus is taking them just as he's promising everyone. It's just incredibly beautiful. Twice now and again tomorrow, we asked Jesus if we've gotten to the bottom of a belief or desire in the basement, we call it. So it can penetrate all the desire, all that energy. In other words, are we finished yet? Or is there a need to ask for a miracle? And also, are we ready for the miracle? Okay. And that's letting him be in full control, Christ's control of looking and clearing the denial. And you're just going all the way down with him. And he tells you when you're ready for a miracle. And if you're not, you keep going, or when it's time for a miracle and when it's time to move on to the next sentence. And she says, many times there is an emptiness, or what I would describe as blankness, a silence. This is love. This is love, this emptiness you're describing. And just look carefully at it. It's not quite blank. Can't explain that. It's not a blankness. It's alive. Just start noticing that, because this is what we're running over with thought. So when Jesus is talking about blankness in today's lesson, he's talking about think of it as blanking out this silence, trying to blank out the silence. Okay, because there's different kinds of blank that beings will report. I can't describe it. I wouldn't describe it as blankness, but each being's going to describe it their own way. But that silence, like seeing the nothingness, that's infinite. That's the recognition of infinite. As the desires are cleared, it's just notice the silence and the restfulness of that. A sense of what we believe we're hearing from Jesus is completion. Yes, that's completion. Beautiful. What is the difference between blankness, the silence, and finding nothing left to work on? Well, it's just the blankness he's talking today about is the blankness that comes from the miscreation of mind through thought. That it's not actually doing something, it's investing in the dreaming. It's like a little spinning in there, but it seems to be moving. It's like this spinning thing like that, but it's blank because it's not really doing anything. It can't in truth do anything. Yet as long as we're living inside that spinning, we'll feel like we are doing something. We'll feel like we're being impacted by the world. Are we in avoidance when the empty space occurs? Empty side? No, that's it. Blankness that he's talking about is the avoidance of that silence. It's just telling you thoughts are nothing. And we invest in daydreaming and all these things, investment in nothing, in nada. Let's see. Also, I have enormous resistance to the joining and find most of the sessions very uncomfortable. Okay, let's ask Jesus. This is a good one to ask Jesus. Jesus, is there a reason? Do they need to be uncomfortable? He says, no, they can be very joyful and playful, but it's the way consciousness plays. Whenever this deep looking comes up, like Buji says, it tosses a stone in the bush. It's going to project into the bush to try to get you, oh, look over there. So I'm asking him, so sometimes you do have to step through it with him. Yes, generally on chapter 20 you will. Because remember, the discomfort, any discomfort is the unwillingness to look. He says yes. Pain can be clearing, but you ask him because you won't know. He's going to tell you if it's clearing or you're holding on to something. And when you get down to that nothing, ask him, am I holding on to anything? He'll tell you no. It's all those thoughts and desires that's holding on to, it's holding on to the blankness that he's talking about, blankness. I feel I'm pretending to be enthused and open about joining for a sweet, bubbly Thecla's sake and to keep myself plugging along. I clearly have a desire to find it hard, frustrating, and unfulfilling. That's beautiful. Jesus says yes. Thanks for looking at that and bringing that, because that will appear as beings go through chapter 20. It'll seem they'll go, you know, the ego may go AWOL. You have to start saying no to the ego's AWOL plan, because that's just how it plays. Remember, it's the shark and it's looking for any defense against looking with Jesus. I think I get what Genesis chapter 20 was experiencing. Thanks for your help always. See, the experience, he's taken us really beyond experience, but there's no way for him to, you have to experience it. You have to be in the recognition, but it's a beautiful reflection as we don't even, through the play of consciousness, we're so used to noise that the discernment between the play of consciousness and true nature, that's the whole functioning in consciousness to obscure that recognition, that light that's natural, the natural state. So we don't even recognize it sometimes because it's always here. It's always here, and then it gets obscured through the nothingness, the blankness that Jesus is talking about, just to obscure it. But you'll know how you feel because you'll feel relaxed, completely in infinite light, because it's a natural state. It's what's natural, and it's happy. It's a infinite happiness. And then we just look where it's not that, and that will bloom. Like as the desires are cleared and you keep going to silence and keeps bringing you to back to see who you are, that silence is always here. It's not the thoughts that are always here. It's a play in consciousness to pretend like they're always thoughts and then a few moments of this peace. But as he's clearing those desires and they keep coming up, then you just you rest more. We just rest as who we are, released in that. And then more comes up and you go, Jesus, what happened? Why is all this coming up? And he's telling you, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. Even when you're resisting and you don't think it looks good, it's not going to be, sometimes following prompts does not feel good at first. I'm just going to, yes, Jesus says that. It's just because consciousness is made to avoid, fight, argue with prompts. It's argument with the miracle, argument with divine love. So just go on in there, jump in there. It's guidance. It's been prayed. We've prayed over it, who to join with who. And so you can just rest in that and just see what the ego is really pointing at, really not uncomfortable about, is that uncomfortable is being exposed for the silence and the stillness underneath that. So very beautiful. Thank you for this opportunity to have a little talk with Jesus about this in chapter 20. Beautiful. Amen.